Hi, and welcome back for another soul care resource video. I have with me today Pattie Schramm, the clinical director and a psychotherapist with Centus Counseling. Welcome, Pattie.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you today for sharing. I've asked Pattie to share with us about coping with the holidays and setting expectations this year when things look so different. So, Pattie, thank you for sharing.
Sure. I think this has been on all of our minds, and as unfortunately the cases are going up around the country, we're even more aware that the holidays look different this year. 2020, I saw a comic that said, "I'm going to stay up and celebrate New Year's Eve, not to welcome 2021 in, but to make sure that 2020 leaves." So, so it's a tough. Our holidays are very sacred to us, literally, and also a time of tradition and gathering and memories. And so having to adjust our expectations, having to let go of maybe some of our ways of gathering at Christmas, or in Thanksgiving is going to be is tough, and we can acknowledge that. I think it puts us in a position where we have to discern some decisions and some plans around how we're going to manage it, and on a practical level in terms of gatherings and safety. So I think listening to credible medical guidelines, and being clear that you need to make a decision. And then the boundaries of that is trying to express and maintain boundaries in a way that it can be clear to others, but it can be loving at the same time and hopeful, for how we can maybe do some adjusting and still look forward to next year, perhaps, to be able to do the same kinds of traditions we've always done. So being aware of your feelings and allowing your feelings, any feelings of loss or frustration, but you don't want to allow those to rule, in a sense. You really do want to come back to kind of more of an adult kind of discernment. And once you make those decisions, you want to express and communicate them clearly, but thoughtfully. Like, if this is your decision, to say something like, love really is staying in our home bubble this year, or love really does mean protecting our family and our friends and our community, as well as ourselves. So, expressing your intent, not just, no, I'm not doing it. But kind of owning it and being able to say, I've decided the risk is too great, or we, if it's a couple, the risk is too great, and it does grieve us, but we're sacrificing now to, out of love, to reach out for better times down the road.
Thank you for giving us those words.
Yeah.
That's very helpful. Thank you.
Well, and I think hopefully most family members kind of can agree, but in large extended families, sometimes that's hard to do, So we talked about self-care in another segment, but part of self-care is knowing your boundaries. Once you've made that sort of due diligent decision and try to express that in loving ownership kind of ways, if others disagree, to try to realize where you start, where you start and where you stop, that you can take responsibility for your decision, for your love, for your expression, and they have to take responsibility for how they receive that, how they work with that. Sometimes if people are disappointed or disagree, they may need some time and space to kind of work that through. But you need to feel good about the decision you've made. Now, if you do choose to, we're talking here about choices, and one of the choices is safety around things we don't care about, like having to call off Christmas. But we can make some choices to find joy and to find meaning and connection, even in spite of this. And so cultivating joy is about understanding who you are and what you need, and then creatively finding ways to meet that, even in a pandemic, even if it's not in the same ways you used to. I'm going to use something I grabbed out of a USA Today article called WOOP, WOOP.
Okay.
WHOOP stands for wish, outcome, obstacle, and plan. So very simply, if you take the W for WHOOP, that's the wish. Think about exactly what it is that you're lacking right now amidst this pandemic and your grief over the holidays being different this year. What is it I'm missing? Is it connection? Is it adventure? Is it play? And then the first O is outcome. Start to brainstorm about what possible outcomes would be feasible to meet that wish or need within the current situation. What would it look like if I could get that need met, even in this current situation? The second O is obstacle. Sometimes we get in our way, you know? So what is it in you that stands in the way of trying to accomplish getting that need met? And then making a plan. What kind of creative, the P, what kind of creative action can you take to meet those needs? And it 2020 may force us to be creative in ways we never can. You know, if part of what we love in Christmas is giving, maybe because we don't have all the normal things that we're used to, we realize that the woman down the street lives by herself, so we leave a poinsettia on her doorstep. You know, that's a different kind of giving. And maybe we're all wrapped up in our family exchange and what have you. We don't think of that. So let's my hope for people is that we can be creative. There may be different creative ways you can be outside and still see some of your family, maybe just for dessert instead of, having a whole meal inside. Or you can be inside and eat from your separate homes and use Zoom to connect. There's lots of creative ways. Some people are doing all kinds of tests and trying to make it work. Just be careful and be thankful. And we do have reason for hope that in 2021, we'll have more options available to us.
Well, Pattie, thank you so much for giving us tools to help us get through this holiday season. And I hope yours is wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.